What's up, guys? Welcome to my replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for jumping in and checking out my broadcast. Sorry I missed you live, but so glad you guys took some time to check it out. What is up to my live crew this morning? Great to see you all this morning. So glad to have you here. I appreciate y'all coming in to hang out with me on this Good Friday. Great morning to you, Shirley. What's up, girl from Easton? Victoria, what's going on, my friend? Tracy, good morning to you. Brian, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in. I see Alexis. I see Tracy. I see Tony, good morning to you, buddy. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate you guys. So I got a fun broadcast for you today. We're just going to hang out a bit this morning. I'm going to share with you some never before heard stories from the Jcpro archives. I'm going to share with you some funny stuff that you would be surprised to know about my business journey, my broadcast journey, just some funny things that have happened to me. As a broadcaster, I've been broadcasting for a little over 5 years, almost, I guess, 5.5 years, roughly. And I have had some funny things happen to me. And a majority of the funny things that have happened to me, I have managed to keep hidden from the camera. So I'm going to share with you just some funny stuff this morning. This is stuff, I think, of all the stories that I'm going to share with you today, I think there's only one of these that I think you've actually heard before. Maybe. You may have heard it before. The rest of them I know I have never told because they're highly embarrassing, and I had to let a few years passed before I shared those things. So, hope guys, get your morning beverage out. I hope your coffee is warm. Cheers and good morning to you. Hope your Friday is short, your weekend is long, and you guys are ready to get about today. All right, so hang tight with me. Let me introduce myself, and I'll be right back with you. All right, y'all, that is who I am. That is what I do. Justin Kaplan Pro is my name. JustinKaplanPro.com is my website. I'm a startup business mentor and a branding strategist that specializes in helping startup entrepreneurs turn your passion, your gifting, your ideas into a profitable and scalable brand, leveraging the power of social media marketing. If you are new to me, welcome. Whether you're on Haps or YouTube or Facebook or wherever you are in the world, I'm so glad you're here and appreciate you taking time to hang out with me this morning. Above all, I am, let me just say this. I'm not going to say above all, but along with all the things that I do, I'm a live streamer. I'm a content creator. I've been doing live streaming for 5.5 years, roughly. And in 5.5 years of going on camera, some things can happen. So I'm just going to hang out with you and share with you this morning just some funny moments that have happened to me over the years that you don't know about and would probably be quite amused. Because one of the things about me, I think those guys that know me well, good morning, Celia. Thanks for coming in. Thanks so much for the high five, buddy. I appreciate you. Eric, what's up, man? One of the things about me that you know about me is I'm very particular about how I present myself, and I'm very disciplined about my brand, about how things look. And so I've had a few moments in the past that have not been quite up to par and have not been quite on brand. So I got kind of a mission for why I want to share this morning. A couple reasons. First of all, is in case you don't know this, I'm starting a live stream challenge next week. All right, starting on Monday. If you guys want to check that out, if you want to be a part of it, you can go to hapschallenge.com. And my mission next week is to encourage and challenge people that are either wanting to get started live streaming or need to get back to live streaming or want to step their live stream game up. I want to challenge you if you've been wanting to just level up or get started live streaming. I challenge you to join this challenge because I'm really going to work with people for 4 weeks for free. It's not for me, it's for you. But I really just want to challenge people to get out and do some live streaming because live streaming completely changed my life. And but I want to share these stories today because I want you to know that everybody has a beginning. Everybody has a starting point. Good morning, Tasha. Thanks for the high five, buddy. Everybody has a starting point, and everybody has to get started somewhere. There's a great quote, I think it's by Zig Ziglar. It says, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And that's what I'm going to kind of just share with you this morning is, because I think most people would probably view my broadcast to Justin as a very professional, polished broadcast. But I started with where I was and did the very best with what I had. And so I want to just kind of set that up for you this morning, share a few stories with you. So the first one I'm going to share with you is actually the first broadcast that I ever did. All you guys that are streamers and broadcasters, content creators, can you guys remember the very first broadcast you did? Like, I would love to see Celia's first broadcast ever. Do you even have that, Celia? I would love to know. I mean, I remember my first broadcast ever. This was Periscope. This was 6 years ago. And I remember hearing about the Periscope platform. And I remember hearing about this was going to be super, super disruptive. It's going to be super awesome. This ability to be able to go live. I deleted mine too, Shirley. That's the thing. I really wish I hadn't. Because now I would love to be able to look back on those first videos that I did and be able to show those to you, because they're so bad, man. They're so bad. But I remember my first video. So my first video, I honestly can't even recall who encouraged me to go and do a video, or who even told me. Oh my gosh, Celia, you actually have your first one. I would so love to watch it. But you wouldn't believe this, y'all. So my first video, I remember I wanted to talk about branding, because branding was basically my that was my thing. That was what I knew, and I wanted to have that discussion. But I was so nervous about saying the wrong thing or losing my train of thought that I scripted my whole conversation. Okay, so I typed out my entire conversation, and all I was working with at the time is I had a little tablet. I had a little Microsoft Surface tablet. So I typed the whole thing out, and I didn't have an office. I didn't have a desk, and I wanted to just kind of look relaxed, and I kind of wanted just to look chill. So literally, I had a hat on like this. I had no lighting, and my camera was all wrong. And I went sat on my couch, and I sat on my couch like this, and I was sitting on my couch with my legs out in front of me, and I had my Surface like on my lap. And I was so nervous. And so I'm sitting back like this. It's all the wrong angle, right? The whole right angle is wrong. And so I'm sitting back in my couch like this, and I got my camera out like this, and I'm like, and so I could see the words. That was so it was. I had to sit back so I could see the words. And so I'm like sitting back in my camera, and I'm like, there's no energy. And I'm like, hey guys. And of course, the camera's here. And so I'm like looking down here. And so you're watching it, and it's like this guy isn't even looking at us. And I'm like, hey guys. So today I'm going to talk to you about branding. Branding is the most important thing that you can do in your business. Because, and I'm like, it was so bad. It was so awful. Oh man, it was awful. So that first ever broadcast. Now if the first one, listen, if the first one wasn't bad enough, the second one was worse. So my first broadcast ever was this awful. I'm like, I remember going back and watching it when it was over. I'm like, that was awful. I'm like, that was so bad. It was so terrible. I'm like, all right, I gotta do something different. So again, I've been watching Paul. What's up, man? I've been watching other broadcasters doing their different things. And one of the things that I kind of noticed was there was people that were like moving around and like walking around. I'm like, maybe I need to not be sitting still. Maybe I just need to be more casual, and I need to just be more just kind of moving around. So I'm like, so I'm like, my second broadcast, it was the next day. I'm like, maybe I'll do a broadcast kind of like my morning routine, like what my morning routine was. So I started my broadcast in my bedroom. And I'm like, hey guys, today I'm just going to kind of walk you through my morning routine. And so I don't even know what I was even thinking, but I was like walking around my house. I walk into the closet, and this is where I do this, and then I come through here and I go and do that, and then I go downstairs, and this is what I do. And the whole broadcast looks like you're on a roller coaster ride. It was awful. I mean, I remember in that one I was watching. I'm like, is this good? I can't tell if this is good or not. And then of course, this is early on. Courtney would watch everything, and she would give me her thoughts. And so Courtney watches this broadcast, and she comes in. She goes, "I don't know what you were trying to convey in your broadcast this morning, but it was really bad. You need to delete that one." And I got an honest spouse. My spouse is honest. She'd tell me straight up, that was bad. I'd be like, was that good? She's like, no, it wasn't. It was really bad. So those are my first 2 broadcasts ever. Now listen, all right. Those two broadcasts were in September 2015 on Periscope. Okay, Periscope was still brand new, still was just getting started. And those first 2 broadcasts were so bad. I'm like, this sucks. I hate live streaming. I'm not doing it. I'm like, I'm done. I deleted the Periscope app from my phone. Somehow, what's funny, thank you for that super heart, Paul. Appreciate you. Somehow from those 2 broadcasts, I actually picked up a handful of followers. All right. Lord knows how, but I picked up a handful of followers. Benita, good morning. Thanks for coming in on Facebook. So somehow I picked up a handful of followers. I have no idea. I think they're all trolls, honestly, Paul. I have no idea. But I remember somehow I managed to get up to like 28 or 30 followers at some point, right? This is September 2015. I deleted the app. I hate live streaming. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to do it anymore. I feel I'm terrible at it. I don't want to do it. All right. Now, then all you guys know the story. The following February, 5 months later, my mom calls me. She says, Justin, I'm a part of this mastermind group that's going to do a live stream challenge for the month of February. And the challenge is to do a broadcast every single weekday for the month of February. And I want you to do it with me. I said, no, I already tried that. That's not happening. I'm not good at live streaming. I don't want to. I hate how it feels. I don't like it. I gave all the reasons and I gave all the excuses, right? And I've shared that with you before. My mom wouldn't take no for an answer. She said, Justin, you have been presenting in front of people your entire life. Why could you not make a live platform that gives you access to the world work for you? And I'm like, and it was the word presenting that changed my mind. Thank you so much for that award, Jackie. I appreciate you. And I'm like, and it was the word presenting that changed my mind. I said, all right, Mom, I'm going to try it. But if I do this, I'm not going to show up. Eric, thank you, man. Have a beautiful day and a great weekend, buddy. Appreciate you, buddy. I'm like, if I do this, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do something that people have never seen before. I can't do the way my first 2 broadcasts went. And Mom's like, well, I don't recommend doing it the way your first 2 broadcasts went. You should do something different. So, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to present. Y'all remember my presenting days? Like, how many of y'all were with me that far back where you watched me when I would sit in a chair and I would have the flat screen behind me with a PowerPoint? Were you any of y'all with me that far back at the very beginning? Y'all remember when I used to do the TV? The PowerPoint, Paul, you remember that, right? So I've gone through seasons, right? So, but my very first, I wasn't in suit yet, Celia. Suit came later. All right, we're gonna talk about that suit because I got a blunder on that suit today. But what I did is I'm like, all right, I'm gonna set myself up in a way where I can present, and I'm good at PowerPoints, right? I'm good at graphics. That's what I'm good at, and that was my comfort zone. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna leverage graphics to make me more comfortable in my conversation. And the other thing I figured out too was I figured out that I was still struggling with talking through a broadcast and keeping track of my notes. So what I did was I created a PowerPoint that was basically my notes to follow. Okay. And what I would do was I would set my laptop out in front of me with my PowerPoint on it, and I would connect the laptop to the TV behind me, and I would sit off to the side of the screen like this, and I would have my TV here, and so I would be looking at the camera and presenting, and I had a clicker in my hand that nobody could see, and while I was broadcasting, I would be clicking through, and so you would see my PowerPoint on the TV, but then I could see my own PowerPoint out in front of me, and my PowerPoint was my notes. So then I would just broadcast like this, and I would be clicking through, and I would have my clicker in my hand, and I would click through my notes as I would go through the broadcast. The funny thing is this. not only did I not have like any real sound office or technology or anything. I mean, that is a tip, Shirley. I mean, that's a tip. If anybody wants to use that, I mean, you don't have to use the flat screen behind you, but if you are someone who has a lot of notes, you can put a laptop out in front of you and do a PowerPoint and have your notes be on that with a clicker and just align. Like I can take my laptop and I can put it right here just below my camera. So if my camera is right here, but I can look right here and I can put that out in the distance and I can be clicking through my notes and it looks like I'm looking at the camera. Right? Jamie, good morning, girl. Thanks for coming in. But what happened with me was I didn't have an office. I didn't have a setup at all. So literally I'm like, all right, I got to do this broadcast every single day for the month of February. I had a small house at the time. And so the only room that I had a room big enough that I felt like I had a background that was, you know, good enough for live stream was my bedroom. I had a big bedroom. And so my first, year, probably easily year, if not more than a year, my first year of broadcasting, I did my broadcast from my bedroom. And if y'all recall, where I had my TV, it was a big wall, and the big wall had a whole bunch of pictures of me and Courtney on that. Do you remember that? I know everybody remembers the flat screen. I just wonder if you remember all the pictures of Courtney that were all over. It's because it was our bedroom. And so what I did was that we had these dressers that came out that had the TV on it. And like, all right, I got the TV here. So I got to sit here and I'm going to present and I'm going to have the TV. And then and so I had this is what I would do every single day. A challenge. What did you do for noise cancellation, or do you do something now you didn't do then? Microphone. I do a good mic will give you to answer the question, Tasha. A good mic will give you options for noise suppression, and that'll help it not be noisy in your house. But I had this TV, and so what I did is every morning I had a 4-foot like presentation stand. Like if you were going to do a speech, I had one of those. So I would set that out and I'd put my laptop on it. Okay. And then I didn't have a tripod at the time. I didn't even know how to get a tripod at the time. And I didn't have any extra money to spend, like at all. So I had no tripod. I'm like, I got to figure out a way to prop up my camera. So I had a 4-foot yellow stepladder. Okay. I had a 4-foot yellow stepladder. I would set this yellow stepladder up, and then I took a piece of hardwood flooring. We had like this piece of hardwood flooring. I would take this piece of hardwood flooring. I had the piece of hardwood flooring duct taped to the ladder, coming up like this, and then I had my phone stuck to the wood, and I had 2 of my wife's hair ties, one on the top and one on the bottom, sticking that thing to that piece of wood. That was my tripod. Okay, so I had this. So just picture this. So here, and I used to sit in a chair. So I would sit in a chair. I had my flat screen here. I'm looking at, and the funny thing is, the way our bedroom was all laid out was the bed was back here, right? So I had this 4-foot thing, this stand with my laptop on it. Then I had the 4-foot ladder with duct tape holding a piece of wood up with the hair ties on it, holding my phone on like this. And so that's what I'm looking at. Then I needed lighting. Right. Exactly, Paul. Like, and that's the thing. There's a point with this is I did the best with what I had. I did the very best with what I had to work out. But then I had to figure out lighting because our bedroom only had can lights. And then we had this one big window. But if I opened the window, it was too bright. It would just wash me out. But if I closed the window, it was too dark. And like if I closed the window, there's no natural light. Then all I had was glare forehead, right? So I had no lighting. So I got 3 different lamps, like just regular like house lamps. I got 3 different lamps and I tipped them down, like leaned them on their side and had like these 3 different lamps pointing at me. But then when I did the lamps, it was precarious, Jackie. Jackie says my tripod sounded precarious. It was precarious. Then I had these 3 different lamps kind of propped up and like pointing at me, but then the lighting was really yellow, because a regular incandescent light is kind of yellowish. So then I had white t-shirts laid over top of the lamp, so the white t-shirt would filter the yellow out of the light. That was my live stream setup to start. And I broadcasted like that every day for, I think I went 6 months like that before I finally figured out that I could. Then I moved to standing up. But that was 6 months that I did that every day. And the funny thing is I broadcast every morning at 8:00 in the morning. I was determined. Absolutely, I was determined, Bonita. The other funny part of this, just to add a little bit more funny to it, the other funny thing is that my wife does not believe in mornings. She hates mornings. Now, she's getting better at them now, though. But back then, she really didn't believe in them at all. She didn't believe that morning happened before 9:00. And so not only do I have this circus going on in my bedroom trying to get all of these things set up to get my live stream right, I got ladders and lamps. You can imagine the brightness of all the stuff, right? I used to have all the brightness, I had all these things going on. Meanwhile, Courtney's in bed with her covers over her head. And then 8:00, here we go. What's up, y'all? Nice to see you this morning. I'm yelling in the room. Like, you can imagine how loud our little bedroom is with me hollering in that room. Oh my gosh. And she would just sit there and she would just hit. And so that was starting point, right? Then, so Mel's talking about, I remember when you used to stand up. So then I shifted. All right. I don't remember what it was, but I remember there's one broadcast that I did where I stood up. I stood up and somebody commented how my energy was different when I stood up. I said, okay, I'll do standing up. That's fun. Why not? Let's do standing up. But before I go there, I got another blunder. So this is still in my sit down days. Okay. My sit down days, I had flat screen. I had all the things. What would happen is the way I had this all set up, I had an HDMI cable plugged into my laptop here that had my notes on it and was running along here going to my TV. And you couldn't see the cord. It was out of camera view, but it was like coming across and it was hanging in the air, but it was just outside of camera view. Okay. And so here I am, I'm off to the side, my TV's here, and it was all set up, and on camera, it all looked good. Like, that's the funny thing is on camera, when you would watch my broadcast, you'd be like, this is a clean broadcast. Justin's sitting here, and I always was dressed nice. I wasn't in the suit yet, but I was always dressed nice. And I had a flat screen with a PowerPoint, and everyone was very impressed. I used to get so many comments about, man, Justin, your presentations are really sound. Like, if you could only see my room, holy cow. But anyway, I was doing this broadcast one day, and my mom and my wife were gone. They were actually at a business retreat, okay? And so they were at a business retreat, and the retreat hadn't started yet, so they were watching my broadcast. And so this was when I started wearing my suit at this point in time, but I was still sitting down. So I always had I had my dress shirt, a tie, and my jacket on, and I had my little thing in the pocket and the whole deal, and I looked real nice. Well, when I would do this, I would just wear shorts. I would just wear shorts because I was sitting down. Nobody could see the waist down. You just see what's up top, right? So I would do these presentations, and I would have the whole suit top on, but I would just wear shorts because I was just sitting in my chair. And so I'm presenting, and I remember my mom and my wife were gone, and they were at this retreat, and they were watching me, and they were watching my live stream. Well, I don't remember what I was talking about, Good morning, Lynn. Thanks for coming in. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I was broadcasting and I was getting all excited and I flung my arm up and my arm caught the cord and caught that cord that was connected between my TV and my laptop. I swung my arm up and I caught that cord and my laptop went flying and my laptop hit one of the lights and knocked one of the lights down and unplugged from my TV. Midstream. I'm like, oh crap, y'all. I'm so sorry. I just hit the cord. I'm like, just a second. And I stand up. And when I stand up and I go and I put the laptop back and I fix the light and I go back behind the TV and I plug the TV down and I come down and I sit back in my chair. And as soon as I sat in the chair, I remembered I had shorts on. Now, thankfully, because I had shorts on, thankfully the shorts that I was wearing were black shorts, just solid black shorts. They went to my knees. Okay, I wear pants now. Okay, so I had these black shorts on, and my mom and my wife were watching watching the whole thing go down live, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And so here I am in this fancy suit, and I stand up. Yeah, thankfully I wasn't wearing boxers. And so I stand up and I sit down and I'm like, all right, sorry, y'all. I got myself situated. And when I sit back down, it hits me. I just stood up in front of the camera with my shorts on. And what I didn't know is I did not know what was visible. I didn't know how close I was to the camera, what was seen. And so then I got like half a broadcast left to do. And because I'm a ginger, I go red, man. Like cherry freaking red. And I went boom like a cherry. And my neck my neck will get flush. My neck got flush. And I was trying to work myself through the rest of the broadcast, and nobody said a thing. Like nobody said a thing in the chat. And I'm like, I was just mortified. Just completely mortified. So I finished the broadcast and as soon as I hang up the broadcast, of course, here's Courtney calling me. I'm like, oh, come on, what? And she's like, her and my mom are just roaring. They are just laughing their faces off, thinking this is the funniest thing. I'm like, that was the most embarrassing thing ever. And I'm like, did you realize I had shorts on? And Courtney's like, well, of course I know you're wearing shorts. She's like, thankfully you picked your black shorts today. She's like, you couldn't even tell. And I went back and watched the video, and you didn't even know it because it never got to my knees. You could never see skin, and it just looked like black pants because I had black shorts on. So nobody knew it. But in the moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I just gave my, I just right out here in front of God and everybody, I just stood up with my shorts on. Oh, okay. So that's that one. Y'all good? Guys, we're just hanging out this morning. So just a quick good morning to all you guys. Cheers and good morning to you. I hope your morning beverage is delicious, whatever that morning beverage is. I hope your Friday is short and your weekend is long. And I appreciate y'all coming in to hang out with me this morning. I'm just sharing some of my beginning stories. And again, there's a reason for this. Yeah, I want to make you laugh this morning. But more importantly, I want you to know that everybody starts somewhere. So again, I have a challenge going up next week, starting to do a live stream challenge starting on Monday. And if you're considering getting started with live streaming, I challenge you to join us for this, because I really just want to see people get started with where they're at. Again, I'm going to share this quote by Zig Ziglar that says, you do not have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And I've gotten to be a very polished live streamer over the years, but I didn't start that way. I started out where everybody else does. Just working through your junk and working through your blunders and working through doing your very best with what you had to work with. And I did. It's one thing I've always done, as I always did the very best with what I had to work with. And just what I had to work with in the early stages was not much. So after this whole blunder thing, then I ended up trying a standing up broadcast. And so then y'all might recall I moved my flat screen to the wall in the house that I was in, and then I would stand up in front of the wall. You remember that? And that's when I really started going after the full suit deal. As I was doing full suit every day, I would dress up in a full 5-piece suit, the whole thing. And the first blunder, there's a few blunders that I can recall from that one. Nobody knows this one either. I had to drink my coffee. At some point in time in this season, when I was doing the stand-up broadcast, I had decided that I wanted to do 2 broadcasts a day. So for some reason, I was doing a morning broadcast and I was doing an evening broadcast. So I was broadcasting every day at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I did that for 3 months. 2 broadcasts a day. It was crazy. I mean, that was nuts. Oh, here comes my puppy. Yeah, hi. You want to say hi? Come here. You want to say hi? She's getting big. Y'all remember my little puppy that I got for Christmas? She's not so little anymore. This is Pearl. Pearl's a lover and a chewer, and she's really excited in the morning. So now I'm covered in hair. So anyway, so I was doing these 2 broadcasts a day, and I had this one broadcast where I was doing it at 8 p.m. And you know what? I thought about that. Matilda says you should make a video of the evolution of Justin Cap and Pro, maybe both funny and inspiring. What sucks is that, oh, Jamie, I love that. Jamie's picking up your puppy on Sunday. That's exciting. What kind of puppy are you getting? I would love to know, Jamie. What sucks is that all these blunders and all these bad videos that I did, I deleted them because I just wanted them gone. I didn't want them to be out in the world. So I deleted them all. And last year I actually did a post last year in February because it was my 4-year anniversary. I found pictures of different evolution of what I've done and how I've done it. And I posted that, but the videos would have been a lot better. Yeah, Mel Harper every day, Monday through Friday, every day, 2 broadcasts a day. Well, I had one particular evening where usually I would go through about my day, and then we would have dinner, and then after dinner, I would get myself ready for my evening broadcast. And so here I come in the evening, and we had dinner, whatever we had for dinner. And I come in 8 o'clock. I'm live. What's up, guys? Justin Kevin Pro here to talk to you about whatever I'm going to talk to you about today. And I was getting about my thing, and about 60 seconds into my video, literally like just started it, my stomach does the rumble roar from hell. And it's like where everything that's in your intestines just all of a sudden just shifts to the southern portion of your intestines. And it all shifted. And I was about a minute into the broadcast. And I'm like, So today we're going to be talking about a shift in the force, as my family says. It was, I'm like, and I don't do short broadcasts ever. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just going to keep going. And so I keep on going. And the roar doesn't get quieter. It gets louder. It's not going away. Like sometimes you wonder, Nigel, good morning. Sometimes you wonder, maybe it'll just go away. It doesn't. It's the burn. Then the burn starts. The gut burn, the fire that happens, the fire starts. And I'm all trying to teach and talk with my 5-piece suit through this burn. Now I got burned. I'm like, ugh. And then I don't know. I must have went maybe 10 minutes. Thank you, Paul. See you later, buddy. I must have went maybe 10 minutes before I realized that I was in trouble. And this was not going to go away. Now, where I broadcasted at the time, I'm standing in my bedroom, and there was a door. There was a door right here, and I could go through that door and turn left, and there was a bathroom right there. And I'm like, I'm in the process of teaching whatever I was teaching. And in the process of teaching, I'm also trying to, so on the left side of my brain, I'm teaching you. On the right side of my brain, I'm trying to think of how am I going to get off this broadcast to go poop and try to get back on here. I can't leave the broadcast going. I can't tell these people, y'all, I'm sorry, I'll be right back, and go. I mean, I can't, how am I going to navigate through this? So I'm talking. And one of the things that we had back then in Periscope was we had trolls. Right? So trolls would come in, and trolls would, do their thing, and they'd be commenting, they'd be noisy and obnoxious and all things. So throughout the broadcast, when you'd be broadcasting, I would always be like swiping and blocking people. So I'd be like, oh, I'm swiping one, block that guy. And so I'd be blocking people throughout the broadcast, just people that needed to go away. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a swipe, block, and exit the broadcast on accident. And so I'm in the middle of teaching, and I reach up to the camera, and when to hang up a broadcast, you just had to swipe up and hit exit or end, I think, end broadcast. So I'm sitting here teaching and just talking, and I swipe up the broadcast and end it. And I end it and hang it up, and I'm like, I go tearing out of the room, and like I made it to the bathroom by God's grace. Without a mess. I made it to the bathroom, and I get to the bathroom, and I deal with what had to be dealt with, and of course I'm in a hurry because I'm like, I've got maybe a minute, 2 minutes before my audience is gonna be like, what the heck happened? Where did he go? And so I do my business. I come running back in. I hit the camera. I fire up a brand new broadcast, and I come right back in, completely poised, like nothing happened. I'm like, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm like, there was a troll on the screen, and I meant to block him, and I accidentally hung the broadcast up. So we're right back to it, and I kept going right through my content, and I think I was gone for 60 seconds, and nobody had a clue. It was like Superman. It was like broadcast wizardry. And it was just about that moment, I'm like, I am no longer doing evening broadcasts, because evening broadcasts suck and they're terrible. Nobody has ever heard that story before. So y'all know I love you when I'm willing to tell these stories. So cheers. Good morning to you. I hope if nothing else this morning, I can make you laugh. All right. The last one, you guys may have heard this before. The last one I'm going to give you, I was trying to think of some funny. I haven't had too many blunders lately. Sherry, what's up, girl? Sherry, you've missed some of the good ones. You're going to definitely want to watch this, because Sherry, you're going to get a kick out of this. It's out in the world now, Jamie. There's no bringing it back now. I've been trying to think of if I have had too many blunders. I haven't had too many blunders recently. These were like early blunders. One of the ones that I've only shared this one other time before. It's pretty funny. It was when I was getting ready to launch my book. And when I initially wrote this book, I had no idea what I was doing. And I found out, so I wrote this book, and I wrote it as a PDF. And initially when I sold it as a PDF. And after selling it as a PDF, then I learned that you could actually self-publish your book and get your book actually physically published. I'm like, well, that's cool. How do I do that? And so I started digging into it, and I started looking at what it would take to self-publish, and I realized this is actually going to be pretty easy. So I wanted to announce this book, but I didn't have an actual book yet. Like, I wanted to have a book where I could hold it like this, right? And I wanted to announce that, guys, I wrote a book. I want you guys to check this out. Go buy it. And but I didn't have a book. So once I got the book written, I'm like, how can I like announce this book? And so I'm like, I know what I'll do. So I got some glossy photo paper, and I had designed the cover. And so I went and I printed out my cover using my printer on a glossy photo paper. Then I went into my kids' bedroom. My kids were little at the time, and I went to their bookshelf, and I found a coloring book that was 8.5 by 11 size that my gloss cover would fit on. And so I trimmed the edges so it was a nice, clean fit. And I got my daughter's little glue stick out, and I'm sitting there at her little, the little kid's desk. I'm sitting at my kid's desk, this little short little desk with her coloring book with her little glue stick, and I'm glue sticking it. She wakes up and she's like, "Daddy, what are you doing to my glue stick?" I'm like, "Never mind," and I'm gluing. And there's Natalie. Natalie's like, "Daddy, what are you doing to my coloring book?" "Never mind." So I'm sitting here gluing on the thing on the front of her purple Dora Explorer coloring book, and I take my glossy cover and I stick that thing on the front. Now I got a book. I can hold it. I just couldn't show the end because if I had showed you the spine, it was purple and the back would have Dora on it. So I had to hold it like this. All right, I had to hold it like this. So I had to not angle it. So when I launched my book, I didn't even have a physical copy yet. I went out there and I went live. The guys, and I'm holding the book like this the whole time, like not moving. I'm like keeping it, straight on with the camera. I'm like, guys, I'm so excited that I just wrote my first book. I would love for you guys to check this out. It's called Stepping Stones. It's an entrepreneurial guide and workbook. And I couldn't flip the pages. I couldn't do anything because this is what I had. This is all I had to work with. And so I did the whole presentation, did the whole live, and I got it all done. And I hung this thing up. And I hung it up and I was done. I'm like, that worked. And my wife hears the broadcast. She's like, "Did you just do a broadcast about your book?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Check that out." And she's like, she flips through it and she goes, "You're a genius, right?" I said, "I know." Freaking Dora. And then of course Nat is like, "Daddy, can I have my Dora book back?" I'm like, "Well, kinda. It's my thing's kind of glued to the front, but here you go, you can have it back." Oh, freaking Dora. Dora got me started, y'all. Dora got me started. And so Natalie credits my book sales to the quality of her book. She wasn't surprised. Courtney's not surprised by anything that I do anymore. Oh, that's just a handful of some of the behind the scenes, some of the archive stories, y'all. Just some funny things that have happened to me. I'll leave you with that for today because I know 45 minutes every time is so valuable. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you missed the beginning, I'd love for you to go watch it. Guys, listen, any of y'all want to join my live stream challenge next week, I'd love for you to join it. I promise I'm not going to teach you how to put together coloring books or do any of the craziness that I've gone through. But I've learned a lot of stuff over the years as a live streamer, and that's what I teach. I'm going to teach you how to be the very best with where you're at. So you guys can go to hapschallenge.com if you want to get it plugged in for that. And we're going to kick that challenge off on Monday. It's not going to be terribly difficult. It's just going to be a good challenge just to push you to go to your next level in the month of April. All right. So guys, have a great Good Friday and Easter weekend. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Loved hanging out with you this morning. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend. All you guys that are on spring break, if you're going on spring break somewhere, enjoy that time. Be safe as you travel. And I will see you guys all around the web. All right. Take care. God bless y'all. I'll see you guys later.